Thank you. I have a resolution I put on the agenda for last time. Some things have transpired since then, so made some changes to the resolution, and then Carrie Gladys just tweaked it a little bit and added some language that she liked better. I have a copy of this. She emailed it to us yesterday, I believe, but in case you don't have a printout, I'm happy to pass these out so that you guys could take a look and follow along if you would like. I'll pass those down. And so really this was, I'm sorry?
This
is just extra copy, I'm sorry.
Yes, she, Ms. Galata sent her version out yesterday. So this is just a printout of hers, which was just a few tweaks from the one that I had sent out. Just a few things have transpired since I had it on the agenda last month. And one was a resolution that came from the Montgomery County Commissioners Court that was signed, and that was done on May 21st, 2024. We also received a letter from Senator Brandon Creighton asking us to stand down. We received that on May 22nd, 2024. And we've received multiple emails and stuff as well regarding the Title IX. And I just think it's important that we take a stance as a district just to let the community know that we are standing in the gap to protect the safety of our daughters. So that's why I brought it on.
Okay.
Can you tell me, like, what is the point of this?
To let our community know that we will do what we need to do to protect our daughters.
What does do what we need to do mean?
Well, it's laid out in the resolution.
Do what we need to do means not complying with federal law?
It is, it's laid out in the resolution.
Means risking federal funding?
It was actually just upheld in the Dallas court and across the one from Louisiana and Kentucky. The court cases have now gone across the nation that this is not the Biden Department of Education, Title IX regulations that they just put in place are no longer upheld. They're not constitutional.
Then what's the point of this?
To let the community know where we stand.
Go to your Facebook page then.
Okay?
What?
Well, you don't have to sign it.
Did the community know? I mean, doesn't everybody have a copy of this?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
She heard me.
They have whatever's in the board book. I mean, if they access the board book online.
There were a couple word tweaks from hers to the one that was on the board book. And I have copies of both if you'd like to do a side by side.
I want to submit a resolution.
You want to what?
I want to submit a resolution.
Okay.
I pass mine down. Submit my resolution. Here you go. Here's my stuff.
When was the last time Brandon Creighton
You
spoke
set the things down.
Aside
I want to
from
read
this,
my resolution.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't. I didn't mean to
I want to
interrupt
read
you.
I don't understand what.
So,
This is
resolution?
Datron wrote
I
a
put a
resolution.
resolution.
Is it a resolution? I'm just asking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, we
If it
don't.
has Title IX in it, it's related to the topic.
That's what I was going
All
to
right,
ask.
I got you.
That's what I was
I'm
gonna
gonna point
ask.
on that. It's a resolution of disapproval of hypocrisy and politically based agendas at the expense of students, staff, parents of Conroe ISD, Conroe Independent School District, in this proposed Title IX resolution. Whereas Conroe Independent School District Board is firmly committed to providing an educational environment free from discrimination and harassment, and whereas Conroe ISD is dedicated, the board of ensuring students feel safe, respected, and supported in our schools so that they can learn and thrive both academically and personally. And whereas the board was presented a resolution last year to denounce school vouchers, which reintroduced public school segregation by economic means and thus racial lines, which was determined by Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, 1954, to be unconstitutional. And whereas school vouchers continues to threaten the destruction of public school systems across our great nation by diverting public funds to private institutions. Whereas the Conroe Independent School District board members took opposing views or neutral views against the school voucher resolution that would be in support of Conroe Independent School District and all Texas public school systems. Whereas the board members previously identified themselves as mama bears seeks to purport a political agenda. Now, therefore, be it resolved, let me finish.
There's a
that
lot
the
to go
board
through. I'd be happy to
of
read mine too.
trustees, please do, of Conroe Independent School District in a public meeting duly called and assembled, reaffirm our commitment to ensuring students feel safe, respected, and supported in our schools, and stand firm against actions that are political in nature and seeks only to serve those bringing those actions. Supports Title IX's protections for women and girls in our schools, and that no person shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation in, be denied from, the benefits of, or subjected to discrimination under education programs or activities in our schools. Conroe ISD acknowledges hypocrisy by our board members in presenting resolutions under the pretense of protecting our kids. We acknowledge the ongoing assault of public education through book banning, also under the pretense of protecting our kids, and confirms that book censorship is another self-serving political agenda. Acknowledges that Conroe Independent School District will continue to serve the best interests of our students, staff, constituents by demanding that board members set aside their individual egos and political agendas.
I'm impressed.
Let's get this signed, baby.
Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, I do think there's a
You're
little bit
amazed.
of a different, what's that?
You're amazed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most work I've seen you do in a long time.
Yeah, you
All
don't
right,
pay me,
that-
so
we
don't worry
don't, we
about
don't
that.
need to do that.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that.
But he can sit there and say things to us about our intelligence, our ability to multitask.
Reading
our
comprehension.
Reading comprehension,
I
and
didn't
no
know
one
you could write
corrects
this
I
him.
don't say
Well, I
anything
will
about
tell
your
you,
job.
I
It's
was
lack
not,
thereof.
that was not, while I was board president, I was not conducting the meeting at that time, and I thought it was inappropriate as well. But go ahead.
There is a bit of a difference to what you're referring to. This is specific to our district and the protection of our daughters in restrooms and locker rooms. This is specific to our district.
School vouchers are specific to all public school systems, which we are a board of trustees that swore to protect and serve. But no one here felt the need to push forward a resolution. We put it out there, everybody felt it was a moot point.
Yeah,
And all
it's
of a
just
sudden,
not
we're in
our
a
place.
resolution mode.
I mean, you can sign whichever one you want to sign. I think
know-
that it's important that we take a stance and let people know where
I tell
we
you like my son
stand.
used to tell me.
Why?
couldn't
I
say
still don't
first of all.
understand why it's important.
Well,
not
just for the
binding.
same reason it was important for you guys to sign a resolution
That's
years
easy.
ago about BLM, Black Lives Matter, and post it on the website for a year.
Yeah.
What?
See, you see?
Yeah, I mean,
Now
if
you
we're
want-
talking
you totally against
hypocrisy and
resolution. Now you all of a
politics
sudden want
and
to sign a
ego,
resolution.
I'm sorry, say that.
I'm
one more-
saying
say
that
it again.
this resolution is as important as the resolution that was signed by the four,
Which one?
the
Which
two
one?
of you at least.
Which resolution? Go ahead and tell us how you really
Hold-
feel.
hold on a
Which one?
second.
Which
I'm
resolution?
not sure
Let me
following
finish.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please,
You can turn your mic off if you need to.
please, this is enough. We talked about this before. Please finish your statement.
Thank you. I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter resolution that was signed by board members in '21 and posted to the website. You can confirm it with Ms. Blakelock. But if we're
Black Lives
talking,
Matter?
yes, it
She's
was
just
in
saying it's
support
as
of
important.
BLM.
Because you don't support that.
Hold on.
I'm
That's
just
not what
saying
she
it was a
said.
political move, so it was done through,
You're talking about
Listen.
when we said, when we talked about the all means all, and that we had a community that was
supporting of,
hurting?
yeah, it was hurting because of
We
George
didn't-
Floyd's death.
That
And,
was not a BLM, a Black Lives Matter.
I'm sorry, there was
statement.
reference to
In
Black
the
Lives
resolution,
Matter.
in the resolution.
I'd have to go back and read it, but I'm certain that
Okay,
there
so
was.
please be careful when you make those.
Well, when he's making,
Don't worry
charges
about
at
him.
us about our political motives.
I'm just asking you.
I'm guaranteed the right to bring it up.
Because they are
I'm just
political
saying,
motives.
I'm
right?
saying that-
Factual.
Listen, the community
I'm
is
just
very
asking you
concerned
factual.
about the Biden administration's
Overreach.
thing that they're putting on Title IX. Everybody is very concerned about it. So I think it's important that us as a district that governs over
But-
73,000 students, it's important for us to take a stance.
We
And
can't take a
that's where
stance
we're at.
against vouchers, but we can take something that's gonna deteriorate the whole school
This is
system.
regarding the
We have to take
safety
it
of our
down.
daughter. I have 4 of them in the district.
Oh, this is what this is
How
about?
does
So
Ti-
how does that
it-
legislation have anything to do with
How does this ensure
it?
the safety of your
How
daughter?
does that do
It's a stance. It's where
So-
we stand.
How does that do
So
that?
when it comes down, time to implement Title IX amendments, like your stand is we don't do that as a district?
The language that Ms. Gladys added is making it so that we are not, it's so that, can you explain? You
No,
can
she
probably
don't need to
explain it better
She
than I
can't explain.
can.
We've done all the explaining from her side of the house.
That we are not
Can't
open to
explain.
litigation, correct?
No, that is not. I did my best effort to minimize exposure.
Okay.
To minimize
Minimize.
exposure, for you to make a statement. Do you understand? Like, this is not a role about furthering your own personal ideas,
And
right? This is
I speak on
a
behalf of the community.
servant
It's not my personal
role
Yeah,
ideas.
to the community.
politics.
And,
that
and
you
so are
would
you
put
saying
the
that when I say
district
I've
Don't talk over
spoken
each
to the
other.
community?
Risk
I'm
that
asking-
you,
I'm asking you please to not talk over each other.
I would stop. Okay.
I want you to make sure you have the floor, but let's,
that we would
Decorum.
that we would engage in an activity that opens us up to risk, so you can make a stance, so you can virtue signal. That is so inappropriate.
Huh, okay.
The filings focus on whether the federal government may lawfully impose conditions on a state's educational institutions by purporting to interpret Title IX of 1972 educational amendments as prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender. It further goes on to state, and I'm reading from the Northern District of Texas, Fort Worth Division, that is one court for the state of Texas that has decided that this is not constitutional and we do not follow this. And then
Trustee-
the rest of the states in Louisiana and Kentucky, and I know Ms. Gladys is aware of it, that have now enjoined and concurred that it is not constitutional. We are not bound by this. And we will not, are you implying that you want us to follow the Department of Education's regulations come August 1st?
We follow the law here.
No, we're not.
We follow
so
the
let me
law
ask you.
here.
That's
I
profound.
want
If
to
it
ask the
is,
one
we are not
question.
a court of law. If a court system decides it's unconstitutional,
did.
it doesn't hold merit,
didn't.
they
They didn't.
decide it, and then we don't follow it. We don't need to do this.
They didn't decide that.
It is unnecessary.
So are
Please
you,
explain the benefit when exposing ourselves to the risk of doing this.
Mr. President, I make a motion, we reject this proposal of a resolution in any form, any fashion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this item? So, just a couple of things, because I've heard a lot of things about this Title IX that are not completely accurate. Texas has not ruled on the regulations. There's an injunction, which is different. The injunction on the guidance documents, remember those guidance documents we got, there were 112 pages, that was basically saying, here's what the changes are. Title IX has not been changed.
Who provided those documents?
They came from,
TASB?
no, they came from interpreters of this
The Department of Ed
regulation.
issued
Thank
guidance
you.
documents
Exactly,
to
yeah.
explain what they were gonna do.
So the Department of Education came out with a guideline, and there's been an injunction on that has been upheld. And so our stance is a status quo. We are not implementing anything until that has actually been decided. But the lawsuits have not been settled, and there has not been in any state, no state has actually had a lawsuit determined that it is not legal. All it is an injunction. An injunction is just stating that the guidance documents have not been upheld and that they're looking into it even more. So that's really what's going on here. That Title IX has not changed. They're trying to change some language that would affect, as you talked about, what sex means and gender. But it's just an injunction. So there are still lawsuits out there. And you know, we've talked, I've heard it a couple of times today that you know, we have this deficit. And by putting ourselves in a position where we take a stance and say, and I'm reading through this and I don't think it does, but if we come out and say we are not going to follow this law, we just had a conversation about taking communities in school out to save $450,000. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars would we be risking at the taxpayer level if we say, and we are not going to follow the law? I will put on record, I don't like it. I hate it. I hate that that this is actually happening and that someone is actually trying to attack this language. I hate it, and I don't want that to happen, and I want to support anybody who wants to fight this stuff. But I am of the position that we take care of the purse for the district and for the taxpayers. And if we're going to sit here and talk about we need to cut out communities in school for 16 schools of our most vulnerable schools and say that's saving money, but yet let's turn around and put that money into defending those that are going to come after us, because as right as some of us might feel about, hey, this is a stance that we need to take, there's people on the other side of the aisle that are going to say, you know what, we're coming after you. We're going to come after you and we're going to cause you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits.
Alternatively, though, you don't think that there will be lawsuits that come at us when something happens because we've implemented that?
Implemented what?
That we
change
follow
of
the law?
We follow the law.
You can't. I
You
mean, we're
can.
you
If
protect
something
it.
happens in a restroom and it happens at our school,
But
correct?
let me-
That makes us liable.
Well,
This law,
That's
these
not what that is
refinements and
about.
whatnot has nothing to do with restaurants. So quit with the
what-
fear
what's what
mongering relative to you know, our kids, our daughters, and this has nothing to do with restaurants. This law does not
Yeah.
speak to restaurants.
yeah, it's not about
Restrooms nowhere in
that. Look, I'm not an expert in this area. I'm just telling you the research that I had to find on this stuff, okay? So all I'm saying is nothing has been settled. Our district has been in a position where we say, look, if it's not settled, we're not implementing it. And that's what this injunction supports us on, is to say, look, we're not implementing anything until the lawsuits have actually been filed and actually been resolved. Ms. Gladys?
And here's I guess what I would help everyone understand. There's currently an injunction in place against enforcing the guidance documents. I anticipate that the court will also find the same with the regulations when they hear that when they have that temporary injunction hearing and issue a very similar decision in that regard. And so I anticipate the regulations will be enjoined from enforcement. But whether or not the board chooses to file to pass a resolution or not won't impact that legislation, or those decisions by the courts at all.
So wasting our time.
Yeah, also something came out today
let's go
from the
ahead
Attorney
and-
General's
let's
office
take a vote,
regarding
sir.
this as well.
I would just like to
Are
say
you gonna read
that the
it?
hypocrisy.
Well,
I didn't know, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still have Ms. Nelson with the floor. I didn't know if you were going to go anywhere with it.
Well, no, it's just advisory on the application of Title IX in Texas schools. And the Attorney General came out with some guidance regarding this not too long ago, but this is an update that came out today. Texas won a major victory against the Biden administration and the Department of Education, stopping their unlawful attempt to rewrite Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972 to force Texas schools to adopt radical transgender policies in violation of state and federal law. I can keep reading. These radical.
I just didn't know where you brought it
Come on,
up. I
man.
just didn't.
That's
I didn't know if
political
you wanted-
Make sure you
propaganda.
read the
Let's move
part
on,
at the
man.
back.
Let's go ahead and vote.
The very
That's
last paragraph
proper.
about
This
it.
ruling covers all Texas school districts
so
and
far away
ensures
from
no
kids,
district in our
man.
state will have to comply with the Biden administration's illegitimate interpretation that Title IX includes gender identity requirements, including allowing men into women's restrooms, locker rooms, sports teams, or requiring students or teachers to use pronouns based on gender identity rather than biological sex. And if any Texas school district adopts a policy or procedure that conflicts with or contravenes state law, then I will pursue every remedy available to protect students and teachers from these illegal and radical policies.
All right, let's finish the political rally and go ahead and vote.
Okay.
What's the motion?
Can we clean up the motion a little bit, though?
The motion is we're not adopting any
Mr. Williams, let me,
resolution.
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
If you
I'll
don't
let you,
mind.
I'll let you have
Thank
it.
you,
If you don't
President.
mind.
Even though it's mine, I'll let you have it.
I understand. I'm just trying to run the meeting. So the motion is to strike down the resolution that has been presented, even though we haven't voted on a
Which one are you,
resolution.
is it the one that I wrote or is it Carrie's?
I'll
I
allow
said
Mr. Williams to
I
to
said all.
clarify.
Okay.
Say again?
I said all, even though I
said-
think mine has a whole lot of validity.
I second it, and I seconded a motion that said we reject all resolutions on the table.
Damn, I thought mine was good.
Can we add to that, though? Can
You
we
wanna
add
make
to
an
that
amendment?
motion? I'd like to amend it, just,
You can make an amendment.
so again, motion to set aside all resolutions and wait for the outcome of lawsuits by Texas Attorney General or any other lawsuit for clear legal.
I'll accept that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All right, so we're voting on the amendment. So the
Yeah.
amendment is to
Yeah.
wait until, basically, just a wait and see approach.
We got it,
For
both.
true legal,
For
for clear legal direction.
Legal direction from Attorney General and any other, what does that say?
Any other lawsuit.
Lawsuits
Sorry.
These
for clear
courts.
direction.
Attorney General don't supersede
Right.
the Supreme Court.
Any discussion on that amendment?
We're
All
ready.
those in favor of the motion show by the uplifted hand. 4. Opposed? 3. Motion carries. The motion has been amended to strike everything down until we hear and we get final legal advice from the Attorney General. And,
You good?
no, that's on the injunction. I hope you understand. That is just the injunction. The injunction is saying we're gonna take a wait and see, and people are looking into it. It may be struck down altogether, but it's not struck down altogether. That is, I need you to understand what an injunction is, and what Ken Paxton is talking about is not saying this law, the legal lawsuits
all
have
hard
been
work,
settled and it has been struck down. That's not what that says.
Well, that's what it says here, but gotcha.
Okay. Okay, any other
We-
discussion?
We have to vote on the,
Voting
We're
on the
voting
motion.
on that last motion.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor of the motion shall be uplifted hand.
Well, you already voted.
No,
No,
Go ahead, you're right,
on the
you're right,
You
amendment.
gotta
Skeeter.
pay attention.
You're right, Skeeter.
All those in favor shall be uplifted hand. Any opposed by the same sign?
we voted on the
Any
amendment.
abstentions?
That's right.
Two abstentions. All right, so we've got 4, 1, 2. It's not confusion. You gotta pay attention, guys. I can't
I
keep
made a motion.
keep
Teresa
going
made
through
an
that.
amendment to the motion. We voted on the motion.